Okay, this is something I've been wanting to do for a while. I actually wanted to do it while everything was going on, but I was too tired and too sick. But anyway, here goes. This is Miss Kagome, and I am a 27-year-old breast cancer survivor. Anyway, I guess I could start by telling you how it happened or whatever. I was actually 25 and a half years old when I was diagnosed. I remember feeling a little soreness in my breast, and I really didn't think it was a big deal. Thought maybe I had banged it or something like that, or I have a little boy, so I thought maybe he kicked me one night while I was asleep or something. So I really didn't worry about it. And then one day, the soreness turned into like a weird feeling when I touched my breast. Not actually like a lump, but just a little different from what I was used to. So I started doing the breast exams every day to see if things were changing, and I noticed it started to feel a little hard, my right breast. So I asked a couple people, and with my age and everything, people were saying, "Oh, it's probably just a cyst, and they're gonna remove it or drain it or whatever they do to cysts." So of course I hit the internet, started looking up cysts and anything to do with cysts, and research, I guess, basically. And I'll tell you right now, the internet can scare you to death. But when I thought it was just a cyst, I wasn't scared at all. I was like, well, I'll just go to the doctor and have it drained. And I hadn't had my yearly physical yet. I was too busy, caught up with life and everything, and I never skipped the physical, but this time I was just late getting it done. The holidays had come around and everything, so people get busy. So rule number one: don't let the holidays mess you up. Learn my lesson. Get the physicals. So I'm basically doing this to let y'all know that it can happen to anybody. They say women in their 40s start getting mammograms and stuff like that, but I think it should be just a slight bit earlier. Like I said, I was 25, so it's like almost half the age. But anyway, I remember I went and I scheduled my appointment the first time, and I went to my OB, and I told her that I felt something in my breast, and we did the exam, and she said herself, it's probably just a cyst, and she had me go to the imaging center for an ultrasound. So I went, I kept my appointment, and I went for the ultrasound, and the lady did the ultrasound, and I don't know, but it really didn't feel like she knew what she was doing. So lesson number 2, be persistent. Because I went in and everything and got half naked the way they want to, and got the jelly squirted on me and everything, and she did the ultrasound, and in the end I said, well, what do you think? And she said, oh honey, there's nothing to worry about. I don't see anything at all, So I said, well, okay, but I knew I could feel it, and I felt the pain, so I was like, well, she's just the lady doing it, so I'll go back to the doctor and see what happens. And well, my doctor's appointment was like 2 weeks away, and by the time my doctor's appointment came back around, I could actually see and feel the lump in my breast. I could stand in the mirror with my arms up and feel and look in the mirror and see the lump. So of course that scared me, and that let me further know that she didn't really know what she was talking about. So I went to the doctor, and I was like, well, the lady over there, she told me there's nothing to worry about, but I'm sorry, I can see it, So we did our exam again, and she said, yeah, there's definitely something there, and from there I ended up going to a specialist. So she made the appointment with the specialist, and so I went. Um, I went in there and, everybody was really nice and everything. The doctor I saw, he was nice. I went in, I didn't really expect anything to happen the first day, but actually I got a biopsy done. He did a breast exam the same way my OB had done, and when he felt the lump, he said he was going to go ahead and do a biopsy, and if fluid came out, then they drain it, and if it was a hard mass and blah blah blah, a lot of talk. But anyway, we did the biopsy that day in the office. I wasn't that bad. He numbed me and stuck the biopsy needle in there and took the sample. That I have to say that was probably the least painful thing that happened through this whole ordeal. So anyway, I cleaned up and packed up and went home. And he told me, oh, okay, we'll be ready in 3 days. So, in 3 days, I went back, expecting him to say, okay, we're going to have to drain your cyst or surgically remove it. And that's not what happened. I remember I was sitting on the table, and I hadn't had anybody with me because I didn't really think it was a big deal. I had always been to all my appointments by myself, so I didn't really think it was a big deal. And I remember I was looking at the windowsill, and there was a framed poem sitting on the windowsill, and it was called What Cancer Cannot Do. And I remember reading it, and it was saying all the things that cancer couldn't do to you. It couldn't take your soul and make you lose friends and, different little things. And I remember thinking to myself, oh, that's a cute little poem that could, really inspire somebody that needed it. But, I didn't really think it was going to be me. So, I could kind of hear the doctor out in the hallway, and he was making notes, and he was recording on his little recorder. He was saying, female, 25-year-old female, right breast, lump found, and, blah, blah, blah. And then I just drowned out the rest because I was like, oh, he's about to come in here and tell me, okay, we're going to drain your lump or whatever. And then he comes in the room, and he shakes my hand really, calmly and everything. And then he says, I didn't expect you to have this kind of breast cancer. And all I heard was breast cancer, and everything in me was telling me to hold myself together. And he took out a piece of paper, and he just started drawing these pictures of my breast and the lump and all these symbols, and writing notes on it so that I could have something to go back to and, discuss later when I got home. And he was just talking, and all I heard was wah, 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 wah. It was like one of those Charlie Brown cartoons where the adults just sound like noise. It's just, everything just flooded. And, he said, I remember him saying he has to tell women every day that they have breast cancer. So, I felt like he cared, but he had to hurry up and separate himself from it. He was really brief. He was to the point. And he said, okay, you're going to have to decide what you want to do. If you're going to have one breast removed, or if you're going to lose both your breasts. And I remember thinking, oh my God, what in the world? And it was like I couldn't wrap my head around what he was saying to me. It was, I don't know, it was crazy. And I was thinking, I'm not giving up my breast. I asked him. He said it wouldn't increase my chances at all if I got rid of both breasts. So of course I was just like, I know you have to take one, but you can't have both of them. I know some people, they probably say, okay, you know what, just take them both. But with me, I don't know. I couldn't lose both at once. And I thought about it. I know it could come back and be in my other breast. There's always a possibility, but I wasn't going to do that right now. And I remember I just started crying. He walked out the room and I just started crying and crying, and I kept trying to hold myself together, but I couldn't. And I looked over at the windowsill, and the poem was just sitting there, What Cancer Cannot Do. And I was thinking, I wonder who wrote this, if they had cancer or if they just knew someone who had cancer. And I think about it a lot. Some of the things I know, cancer can't take away your family, but it can hurt your family. It can hurt you. It can hurt people around you. It can separate you from everything if you let it, I guess. But, some people are stronger than others. But I remember the nurse just putting her hand on my shoulder, and I just cried and cried and cried, and I could see the people outside my room peeping in because the door was cracked a little bit, and I know they could hear me crying, and I tried to get myself back together, and I went out to the desk to check out, and as soon as I walked out, I couldn't even make it out the door good. I just started crying, just like I just wanted to just lay down on the ground right there and just, I don't know, and people outside watching me, and nobody really stopped to say, okay, are you okay, or anything like that. I didn't expect that, but I could see people watching me, and I just hurried up and got in my car, and I just cried all the way home. And it was like I could only stop crying long enough to tell my parents, when I walked in. My mama said, well, what did the doctor say? Are they going to drain your cyst? And I said, the doctor said I have cancer. And my daddy just wrapped his arms around me, and I just cried. But I didn't want to cry anymore. I wanted to just, I don't know, I wanted to be tougher than what I was. So I pushed him off me, and I went in my room so that I could get myself together and come out and just have the facts and tell them what was going to happen next. And I know everybody can't be like that, and it still hurts, like, it's like I can remember it so vividly in my mind, but it's just something that happened. It's no reason, it's no family history. My mama didn't have breast cancer, my grandma didn't have breast cancer. It's just something that happened, and it happened to me. So, what can you do? You gotta try to go on right. But, I told them what was next and everything. So I guess I'll stop now because this was getting kind of long, and I'll just talk to you next time. But everybody just be aware. I'm 27 years old, breast cancer survivor, so be aware. You don't have to be 50, 60, Get your yearlies. It can be the difference between life and death, I'm telling you right now. It's a big deal. So don't play around with it. All my family, they went out and they got physicals as soon as they found out about me. My mama, my grandma, my sisters, all of them, they all got mammograms. So, you should do that too. Push for it. If you're of age, I know your insurance will cover it. It's harder when you're younger. They don't want to really cover mammograms, but make sure you're doing your physicals yourself at home and everything else, so you'll know. It's better to be safe than sorry, right?